it's Beverly Cole, and today I'm going to show you how to use some clear embossing powder and some glitter on a card that's not too difficult to make at all. I printed this out on regular cardstock. This is my Autumn Gifts paper pack, which is available in my Etsy shop called Artsy Stampers, The Artsy Stamper Shop, all one word. And I am trimming it out on my paper trimmer. Nice and easy to do. And if you don't know how to print these things out, I have videos showing how to use OpenOffice, which is the program that I use for layering my digitals. Okay, so this is cut out now, and also we will cut out this piece, and this is going to be matted on that background piece of cardstock. So this one is measured, let's see, I'm gonna check it on my board, see if I just can't remember offhand what it was. This is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. So when we layer them, they will look like this, but they're gonna look better than that because we're gonna do some fun stuff with it. Let me just move my stuff out of the way here. Now we're going to work on this piece, the background piece. I'm going to put into this Dries embossing folder, and I want it so that the design is raised, so I've got to make sure I put it the right way. I get a little bit turned around when I do this. I do believe this will be it. Okay, right, with the Dries name on the top. So it's going to emboss, and I'm going to do that and come right back. So we have this right here embossed. So this is going to be a double embossing technique, dry and heat embossing. So now if you can see, it's got that texture, and that's sweet by itself. It's really cute. I'm going to take my anti-static pad. I want to go over the entire card with that. And then I'm going to hit this with clear embossing ink. Keep it. Now, that powder should have gotten into all the nooks and crannies on this card, so that this embossing ink, I only want it on the top, the raised areas. Of the background. So I want to give it a good inking with the clear embossing ink, and I'm using Versamark. Okay, then we're going to shift this into a coffee filter and hit it with some of the clear embossing powder. And I'm just going to dump it. Well, actually, we'll do this right over the container. Wow, how about that? And I love vintage things, so I have a really old little spoon here, which is by Tupperware, and I use this spoon to feed all my kids. It's got the little thing on the side where you can hook it on the dish. It's so cute. Had it forever. And when I say forever, I mean forever. Okay, so now I can see it's still wanting to stick in those nooks and crannies, so I'm going to give it a good shake. Okay, not that it really matters. It's going to be beautiful no matter what. Let me just get my glitter brush to clean all this stuff out of the way. Then we'll heat emboss this. Okay. So now we have this piece. Looks so pretty. Doesn't it look awesome? So what I want to do now is I want to use a little bit of a metallic around the edges. Candlelight embossing powder. Just going to go around the edges to kind of give it that framed look, and I'm just going to hit the whole center, the whole thing with my anti-static pad again, and then some embossing ink. So I'm kind of just doing the edges, kind of random tapping. Just around the edges. And I like to get messy, so you're gonna see me get messy. All right. Woo. Okay. Oh, we have a little, it's subtle. Maybe do it again. Yeah, that's pretty. And again, just around the edges. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that a pretty color? Oh my gosh. Heat emboss this. Okay. That's gorgeous. Ooh, that's so, so pretty. All right, so the center is where this will go. So you see our beautiful background now. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so with this one now, I'm going to ink my edges with some opaque inks. And let's see, what color do we want? I think, ooh, I want one that's going to kind of go with that background. So that would probably be frayed burlap. Let's try that. How does that look? Oh yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's very pretty. Okay, so we're inking the edges. And also from the glass mat, you can come up on the edges and bring your color in. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I'm just gonna go right into the center to blend it right into the hole. Kind of wear off all the ink that I had on there. Okay. I'm going to use my precision glue pen here, and we will put some glue on these leaves. And we can clean that up. And we will just put some clear on these leaves. Dump that off. Now this is glue, so it's going to take a little longer. So here we go. Okay, so now we're going to work on the main part of this, our focal point, and we're going to use some more ink, which I have right here, the Distress Oxide Frayed Burlap. I'm just gonna turn this over and do all the edges. And that's how I make sure I get my edges covered without, you know, distressing the whole front of my pumpkin. But then I also want to do just the edges of the pumpkin. Help it stand out a bit from the background. So we're left with this, and this will be layered on here. So before I do that, I want to all this in. I used too much glue before though, so I'm going to try to you can also use, of course, an embossing pen, which I don't happen to have. Wink. And I don't know, just see. these are the deeper areas, so maybe a deeper color. Okay, I'm just gonna let that dry a bit. Let's see, let's put it on the stem too. I'm gonna put it up the side here where it's darker. Okay, and maybe just a line of it here. Okay. Okay, so we'll let the glue dry a bit. So this time I dried the glue ahead of time, and I'm going to add some embossing powder to this. Bronze rose, that sounds pretty. It sounds like it might really be pretty on here. So we will just dump the bronze rose. Bronze rose, what a name. Just sounds so metallic and yet like a rosy color. Okay, so there it is. Okay. And remember, I do artsy artsy embossing and glitter work. So there may be some even on the entire background. I try not to be too fussy, you know, and perfect. Oh my goodness. That is so pretty. Woo. Okay, so I want to add a little bit more of the Distress Oxide Frayed Burlap. And when you add it over this embossing, the leaves will resist the color. So we're going to do this all around the edge with the frayed burlap. And I'm not going to go near my sentiment, just around the leaves. Whole card. Okay, and then we're going to just take a damp cloth and you just, well, you don't even need it to be wet. You're just going to buff away the color from the leaves that are covered in the embossing powder. And there we go. So then we're going to layer that here. But I think I want to put a piece of cardstock around the outside edge. So let me go see what I got. Oh, I got this piece of glitter black cardstock, which you could make yourself with your glitter, but this piece was already made. So I'm just going to layer that. So I'm using some Tear-ific tape on every layer, just removing the papers here. Because the Tear-ific tape, which is terrible, what I mean is tear, T-E-A-R-able, and you don't have to cut it. It's super sticky. So here's my background. Here's my glitter paper, which I start at the top corner, make sure I get my dimensions correct, and press. Beautiful. And then this piece will go centered on that. Beautiful. And then I put some dimensionals on the back of my pumpkin. And I'm going to put my pumpkin all over the edges here. You can see it right there on an angle. So here's my card. And I will dress it up a bit and I will end with a picture for you.